Quick overview of this prototype of Wonderland War Duel. So what you got here is everything is set up. I've actually got multiple characters out, so you would only pick one for each player, so all four would not be out. But just kind of want to walk through things, show you how this is different, why it's specifically set up for two players, and kind of what it's doing. And so one of the common things you're going to definitely notice from the beginning is that all the allies are new. Some of the Wonderlandians are new, all new powers on everything. So nothing is duped from the original. Everything's new, and we're going to be fighting. So your general game structure is 2 rounds. You're going to have 5 battles in each round. You're going to have the draft. It operates totally differently than the original game. And then obviously your familiar strength track. But what we're fighting for are these allegiance tokens. These allegiance tokens are the different factions in Wonderland, and you're trying to win those over. The woodland folk, the airborne folk, the card soldiers, that sort of thing. So there's 5 different factions. And the way you win is at the end of the game, if you have more of that faction, you win that faction. There's 5 factions, win 3 out of the 2, and you win. If there's a tie, then it comes down to madness shards. But also, there's a limit of 12 shards. If you ever get a 12th shard in the game, you automatically lose. You've went too mad. So shards are very important, but they're usually tied to very powerful things. So you're having to make those decisions of, do I want to, boost my power up, but I'm really pushing the line on my shards. All the characters are redesigned and have their own very asymmetric abilities. So like right here, you'll have a component guide and then their board. The board is pared down. You'll see that it's a little easier to grok. You have 2 upgradable powers and 1 passive power. But each character is going to have a different kind of setup. Like the Cheshire Cat comes with its own shard die that it rolls, and it's got some wacky things that's happening there. He also has a special madness chip that he would put in his bag. What that does is when you draw this, you can take a supporter from any area, not just the one that you're in, which is pretty awesome. And generally, they've all got this asymmetric setup. Like the Queen, she doesn't do leader strength like the other characters. She just puts out castles. Castles give her a +2 starting strength in an area. So the more that she can put those out, the better she'll start everywhere else. She can substitute her card soldiers in instead of chips to forge, so she can kind of keep better chips in her bag. Every character also has a special unique power that comes with when they flip their shield, so you have to read about those and learn about them, but they're all just a little bit different. But again, your component guide card is going to tell you how to set up your special components, but then also how your shield works. Mad Hatter, he gets an awesome hat chip that'll be custom sized when we get to the game, the actual game. It won't be round like that, but you can feel it, it's different. So you're able to easily pull that out when you want for a 2 strength chip. He's also got a cool flip me. So his lands back on this side after he uses it. He gets to keep it unbroken. Alice has a really cool situation where she has eat me and drink me tokens. So this one, once she unlocks it, goes into her bag. It's a one-time use for 6 strength. And this one goes out actually on the strength track. And when you land on it, when you stop on it, it gives you +3 strength for her. So each of the characters, again, they have their own setup as far as like special powers that have been adjusted to this gameplay. And that's what you're going to see. Everything here is made for a 60-minute, 2-player, perfectly kind of like tension all the way down to the end gameplay. So the way the draft works now is you'll have these cards that will come out. Like these look familiar. You fill up your 9 spots here on the board. Let me see if I can do this quickly one-handed. So sorry. And what you're going to be doing is it's a bit of a snake draft. Everybody's going to end up with 7 cards at the end of a draft. So the first player would take their choice of a row or a column. Let's say this player takes those. The next player will take a row and a column, which is going to essentially give them 4 cards. And then we would pull the leftover cards, set it up again. Then the second player from that draft would pick first and take 3 cards, and then the other player would take 4. So you end up with 7 cards. So that's how you're gonna build out your bag and send out your, so that's gonna feel very familiar as far as building out your bag and sending out all of your items and your supporters into Wonderland. So, boop. I'll leave that like it is for now, okay? So that would be the draft. That would put all of our stuff out into the 5 different areas, and then we would be ready to battle at that point after you send your leaders out. Now, how are we gonna win the game? Why are we trying to win these areas? That's a great question. So these allegiance tokens are going to be set up out here on the board, like so, in each of the areas. I probably could have done this before I started the video. And what you're looking for is when you win one of these battles, you're gonna get these tokens. And again, these tokens are you trying to get kind of like the control of that area. So now, if I was to win the Battle and Pool of Tears, I would get both of these tokens. That would give me 2 tokens in favor of the card soldiers. If I have more than the other player, that's how I win that faction. Like I said, there's 5 factions. So right here, you're going to have open information. You can see the areas that you may need to go for, or at least you think you need to go for, because there are also quests in the game. What these quests do is they say things like, in the battle on a forge space on the battle track. So obviously there's some new spaces out here too, where you can give player shards, strike shards, or forge. And then also there'll be, if you're the first player to stop on one of these spots, then you'll grab one of those allegiance tokens. But in this case, this quest is telling you, in the battle on a forge space on the battle track, and you're gonna get to pull a token, one of the allegiance tokens, from the bag. Now, what happens when you complete a quest is you're gonna get to pull that token out of the bag, and then you get to keep it face down behind your player board. Now, you'll know what it is. Oh, I got another of the birds. But I keep it face down. I know I have that. The other player does not. And so what you're doing throughout the game is each player is building up some amount of face down tokens and face up tokens. So you've got some known information, you've got some unknown information. It sets it up for some really clever plays of you being able to try to figure out how to hopefully outmaneuver your opponent, because it is a war game. Okay, now, allegiance tokens are important, and they also come in the fact that they can be on some of our Wonderlandians. So like here, the unicorn says, after unicorns battle, if you have at least 3 active chips with different printed strengths, you gain 1 hidden allegiance, and that's what that means there. Not all of these have those, only some, but that's another way to earn some allegiance tokens that are face down that your opponent doesn't know about. Now, you'll see that these have all been kind of reworked a bit. We have standees, we have chips. There's some new folks here like the lion, the puppy, you've got an executioner, the crow. There's several brand new, the hedgehog balls are hilarious. There's several new Wonderlandians to the layout there. And so, I mean, that's a real high level situation where we're gonna do this twice, 2 rounds. And over those 2 rounds, you're gonna have essentially 10 battles. So you're trying to collect as many tokens as you can to win that setup. Let me show you those. Each player is gonna have, either the black player or the pink player are gonna have these generic setups that they'll combine with the player setups. So like if I were playing Cheshire Cat, I might play as pink. I'd grab all these components and then his components and then combine those, and I'm ready to play. This allowed us to kind of like keep the amount. We were trying to keep everything component counts low as possible so that we could make this as affordable as possible. You know, one of the things we really wanted to do with Duel is make it more like quicker to play, less table space, much lower price point. You'll see here with the allies, again, we got the workers, the Tweedles, the painters, the racers, and the cats. There's also Cook's Pepper, where you'll be handing out people shards. The White Rabbit's really cool. He is kind of like an NPC. He replaces our battle, our first player, our first battle marker. So he's gonna go out and he's gonna add a really interesting condition to the area that he's in. So this says after each player halts in the White Rabbit's battle, they draw 2 chips immediately. So you better be careful not to bust there. And there's 5 of those cards. So those rotate each game and give you some little new thing that's gonna happen twice a game with the starting area. And then last are the tea and crumpet cards. At the beginning of the game, these are gonna be handed to you. You're gonna get 3. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna choose one of each of the 3 sections to kind of give you your head start. And so this is gonna give you, the top part is gonna give you a personal quest. And if you do, start a battle with at least 6 strength, you'll flip this over, reveal it, and now you've got those 2 tokens to add to your calculations. You'll have a Wonderlandian to choose from, so you'll get a Wonderlandian to start with, and it tells you what their power is, so you don't have to go dig through the deck to find them. And then last, you'll have where you would lay out your starting supporters into the areas to kind of seed the board. So each player is going to get 3 of these. And the choice that they're going to be making is if I keep this card for the quest, I can't keep it for the other things. So if that's my quest, I wanted, let's say I wanted the lion for the Wonderlandian. That means these are my starting areas. So that's kind of like, you pick one of the 3 and you can do it in any kind of combination that you would prefer. And that's how the tea and crumpets work to get you started. And then depending on who the first player is, the reason the White Rabbit's face is on that tells you where he's gonna start on the board. And that's it. That's really, the game now is boiled down to a 60-minute head-to-head, high confrontation, a lot of fun. Like all the fun of the original game is still there because you're still building out your bag with a lot of fun powers. Each of these allies has 3 different types, or 3 different cards essentially, and you can mix and match. They're not combined into sets. You can build those out in any format you want. So you've got the 5 allies, you've got Forge and Cook's Pepper, which are just kind of like, your standard, they're always gonna be the same thing in every game. They'll have the 1 card. And the White Rabbit's just over here because he looks pretty. But in his NPC, you'll have, so there's so much variability in the game with different setups of cards, different White Rabbit, different player powers, different, setup on the Wonderlandians as far as what comes out. It's dynamic, it's versatile. It's really like, all of the design was really meant to have that head-to-head, which I think is what really, really sets it apart from just playing 2-player of the original Wonderlands War. That's still a perfectly fine game. There's nothing wrong with that if you've already got it. But if you really want something that takes up less table space, plays much faster, and is designed specifically for the 2-player experience, that's what we did this for. So again, that was a quick walkthrough, quick overview of the things in Wonderland's